Alright everyone, welcome to my channel. We're calling it That Donut Boy channel, and in sometime in the future I'll kind of give you an idea why I got that nickname. But it's going to be a channel where I look at stuff, talk about things. You can kind of read in the description what type of things I may or may not talk about. And hopefully it'll give you something to give you some interest beside the same old what you see online and on YouTube. Anyway, first thing I'm going to do is kind of walk around my garden, look at things, talk about it a little bit. I'll do a lot more of that. I have a garden I really enjoy doing. It started out very small. Started out with this plant right here, which is Queen of the Night, a lot of people call it. It has some real pretty flowers, but it only blooms at nighttime, so you got to come out in the dark and sneak up on it and see the pretty flowers it blooms. But it's pretty neat. This was one of the first things I did. This right here was an old waterfall ornament. I dragged it over here and turned it into a pot for this Queen of the Night plant. But since then, like I said, this is my garden. It's a nice little walk around garden. You're welcome to ask me about some of the plants. Some of the plants I know things about, and some of them I just have because they were donated to me, and I like the way they look and they grow good in our tropical environment. I will tell you that probably a good 90% of my garden is either through things I've picked up that were being thrown out by other people and I've fixed. That includes decorations and some of the lights and some of the ornaments. And a lot of the plants were left at places that I went to fix up and repair. And I'd take some empty pots with me and grab some cuttings off of them. Bring them here and put them in some dirt, water them, and next thing you know, you got lots and lots of pretty plants. But anyway, I don't want to get too much deep into it because I'll do more and more walking around the garden. I'll slowly introduce you to some of the wildlife around here, which includes both livestock and pets, both cats and dogs and other stuff. But yeah, like I said, I like to look at things, talk about them. Some of these things I've had for a long time. I move them around the garden. They look good, and I see them not feeling too good where they're at. I'll move them around, put them in different places, or put them in a different pot with some dirt. But yeah, some of these things are pretty neat, and they get real pretty this time of year. It's been very hot where we're at, and sometimes you gotta get a little water to them. But right now we're getting what we're calling our rainy-ish season, so we're getting a lot more rain than we were. That right there is something I didn't even realize I had. I thought it was a cactus, and it's actually a dragon fruit plant. So this right here just started growing out like that. Hopefully we'll see something in the future. It will eventually have to go in the ground to get real big, but that'd be real neat because dragon fruit's real pretty fruit it has. And yeah, like I said, I got a lot of different things to look at. And I do like my ornaments. I do like different things. My wife just last week got me these really cute planter pots. I stuck some spider plants cuttings off the mother plants right there. You can see them hanging right there. And as long as you give them some water and a little dirt, they grow like a demon. So my wife is a big fan of elephants, so you're going to see a lot of elephant ornaments around the garden. Actually, my oldest son actually is the one who rescued this plant. He calls it Frank, baby Frank, because it was little. It's getting pretty big. And yeah, those little thorns right there mean business, so you got to try not to run into that thing. But yeah, like I said, a lot of these things either bought super cheap on discount at the store, or got cuttings and pieces, or just left in places that I had to clean up the yards too, rentals, and things like that I do repairs to. This is right here. It's kind of something I enjoy. This is when I'm sitting in my I got a couple of little chairs right there. When I'm sitting there, I like looking at this little display I made. You can kind of see it. I'll bring it up close so you can see it good. Got little gnomes and stuff, and I just like it because the greenery in it's real stuff. None of this is plastic. These are all real plants, real cuttings I put in here, so they look real cute. And this right here is a little groom and a bride, which I kind of pretend is me and my wife right there, because that's kind of people we are. We kind of like sitting around together and talking and doing stuff and having adventures together. That's a biggie. You excuse these two things. They funny looking, but they catch flies, and when you got livestock, you got flies, and those things catch them, and they do a pretty good job of it as long as you keep some things in there. And that's my little dog display right here. It's pretty neat. It's cute. Little dog statues. Some got little breaks and stuff. A lot of them were giveaway things or left in places that I had to clean up, and that right there is a little plaque that I had my old traveling dog. Passed away in 2019, but we made this little plaque for him and made him step in that in 2017. So that's his footprint from way back in the day, and I think about him all the time. He was a really good boy, good traveling partner. Yeah, like I said, showing you plants today, showing you my walk around garden, and I do have some livestock. You'll see some of them walking around and doing stuff. All the birds you see are very, very nicely natured. They're taught well to not be mean and ornery, and they like walking around with me and looking at stuff. So like I said, this is my first episode of this thing that's that Donut Boy channel, and I'll show you things I got, things I've done, things future shows I might show you me working on stuff, or how I do things, or things I've learned through the years. I'm not that young, I'm not that old, but I've been around long enough to learn a lot of things from different people. So this is the thing I just set up right today. I was very proud of this. This was left in a yard. I brought it here, took a couple of plants that were trying their darndest to grab onto things. Didn't really have nothing for them to grab onto, so I put both these buckets over here. Threw some of the vines on there, and there you go. They got something to climb on, so we'll see how those things do in the upcoming weeks. But let me see what I got over here. A few plants over here transplanted. That right there was a tiny little, left in a bucket laying on its side, bougainvillea. It don't have blooms right now. It's got very, very light colored blooms. It was left to die in a yard, laying in a bucket on the side, dried out, little. All the leaves are real small like these ones. And put it in a pot, nursed it back to health, planted it in the ground, and now I got leaves as big as that. And she's going to get big. I mean, I know a lot of people don't necessarily like bougainvilleas because they are a pokey plant, but they are beautiful when they bloom. So finally got this rascal to stop getting beat up by the heat. I had to put this little cover over it because our sunlight here gets really rough, and when it was a little young plant, it was getting burned up real easy. I was having to water it a couple times a day, and I put this over it to kind of cut the sunlight down. That worked out really good. Just a little piece of lattice work like that knocked about 50% of the sunlight off, and now she's real substantial. When I planted it, it was about that high. About that high to the ground. Now you can see she's grown through the lattice, and she's going to be a big old thing. Anyway, like I said, you can see there's some cages and different things around here because, yeah, there's I'll show you in future episodes, there's some critters around here that all kinds of different things along here. And like I said, there's nothing perfect. I'm not going to pretend this is a studio. I know a lot of these influencers and YouTube artists try to have everything looking like it's a perfect studio in a perfect world, and as you yourself should know, watching this show and in your own life, there's nothing perfect, and this is not the world is not a studio. So watching that kind of stuff, I don't feel like it gives you the right frame of mind. You know, I prefer somebody showing me things that are a little more realistic. And like I said, I look at things, I tinker with things, I work on things, I repair things, and I'll do a little of this and that in future episodes just to give you a little view of the different things I know, and I'll share some tips and tricks, and hopefully maybe you'll learn something, or you can ask something on the little word things in there. But yeah, like I said, if you like what I'm doing, let me know, and I can show you different things. Like I said, I'll show you all kinds of different things to do. You can see some decorations are hiding because it's hard to see some of this stuff. This is actually both my garden work area and for some of the livestock around here. That's why it's a little bit of a mess. I can tell you right now, if anybody knows you got chickens, they can be a handful. But I love tinkering with them. And those things right there, like right now, you can tell it's kind of evening time. I got the little light of this camera thing on. But I got one there, I got one over there. And those things do a pretty good job of keeping the mosquito population down, and it also keeps them off your animals. And animals, believe it or not, they can catch a few things that a little rough on them if they get too many mosquito bites. So it's good to have a couple of these gadgets going because it makes them healthier, makes them happier. And yeah, like I said, this evening time, you can see everybody starting to get in their roosts and little places they get off the ground, because chickens like to stay off the ground so predators don't mess with them. Yeah, anyway, I appreciate you watching, and if you got any questions, put them in the statements below. And if you're, hopefully I can make more and more of these and get used to doing this whole YouTube thing. It's a little bit of a challenge when you've never done it before, but I'll try anything just to do something different. And like I said, maybe if it helps a couple people out there with some ideas and things they want to do, or repair I might do that they'll go, oh, I never thought of that. But anyway, so everyone take care, stay safe, and we'll see you in the next little talk about. Thank you.